What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Skady. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Oranos. His name is Kvoth. The map is Oasis. Is game number 2 of this best of 3 for the Champions League group stages. We do see a little bit of a mistake here in the early stages of the game from Skady as he moves out onto his secondary hunt, finds where the zebra are. The mistake is he didn't shift click the granary and the zebra for every villager that was building it, which meant he accidentally shot this zebra away from the granary. It's not the biggest of mistakes, but it does mean he loses a couple of food that he otherwise shouldn't have lost here. We'll see how things are going to go. Scout has managed to find Hunt very, very close to the zebra as well. So that's going to be a big, big win here for Skady and in this early game. Meanwhile, Kvoth here deciding not to drop an economic guild tier. Villagers on this position, zebra getting grabbed, coming over here as well. Still no economic guild coming down. So it looks like Kvoth at this point is going to be going for a 4-minute advance time. 3-minute 55 if he hits it perfectly, but generally speaking, a little bit tough to get the resources you need out to get that for that 355 if you have to move on to secondary hunt like this and move all the way over here. There's a lot of lost villager gather time. So we see the Hades out for Skady. Skady likes playing Greek on this map. He can play really defensively, lots of walls, lots of defensive play, and he can make it work against most Oranos players. The problem with Oasis is that there are 3 different big differences. Well, there's 3 differences that are really big with the different spawns that happen on Oasis. You have the 4-hole Oasis, or the 4-tree Oasis. You have the 2-tree Oasis, and you have the 1-tree Oasis. On a 1-tree Oasis, a Hades player, an Egyptian player, a lot of the different players in that kind of boat can generally put like a temple on the forward tower and then wall up to the Oasis to block off both sides of the map to make it really, really tough for their opponent to put pressure onto them. The 2-hole Oasis, you can't do that, but it's still kind of a little bit iffy to get around the map. But on the 4-hole Oasis, this map starts becoming a very, very defender's nightmare type map because you need to block off this position, also this position here, and all the gold mines are always going to be all forward. So Skady is going to have to figure out how he's going to be able to secure this gold mine. Now, luckily for Skady, this town center is nice and close to this gold mine. So if he goes for this one, he also gets a handful of monkeys. There's only 4 here, which seems a little bit on the low side of things. But if he goes to this town center, he has a nice forest here. He has the gold mine over here, but it's a little bit far. So it might be tough for Skady to actually grab that one in this game. As we do see a temple coming up now for Skady as well. Prometheus on the way here for Kvoth. No surprises here. It's roughly exactly 4 minutes for Kvoth's advance time. So he's going to be going straight into the Terma here, it would seem, and trying to put some early pressure onto his opponent. As the Oracle's scouting around, looking for something to take out. Athena on the way here for Skady as well. But a very, very late advance time here for Skady. As the villager comes forward, going to shank those oracles a little bit here as well. We see 1 counter barracks on the front, 1 counter barracks here in the back. And those Terma are about to start pumping out for Kvoth. Now, the big question is, how long does Kvoth wait to drop himself his economic guild, get himself husbandry, and start going on to these goats? Obviously, he wants to finish up on the hunt on the front here, so it doesn't really matter, as the Prometheans are going to be moving in to start putting pressure onto these villagers. The villagers can simply just shank here if they so choose, but Skady decides to be a little bit more safe and instead pull back into his home base. He does have himself 12 goats here, plus he's got the houses set up with the berries there as well. This villager is getting a little bit confused. As it gets pushed back here, the villager's going to come in and start shanking away. As Kvoth does split up his Promethean here. Pretty sure As well, the Minotaur comes in, the villagers get a couple more shanks off. Skady at this point, getting himself Ajax, getting himself Chiron. So all the units are up, and we do indeed see a stable coming through here for Skady. As these villagers are getting a little bit confused. Skady notices it. Stable comes up. But double Terma here for Kvoth. Full pressure. There's no real damage that Kvoth can do here with his Terma in the early game. It's a beautifully large amount of trees over here. Good amount of berries on this position with the sentinels here to help out. We do see the Terma coming in onto this position, trying to snipe down that Minotaur there. Kvoth getting a little bit greedy here, trying to chase that one down. Doesn't quite pick it off, and he does lose a Terma hero on that position, which is kind of a big deal. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, we do see Kvoth here. He's going to have to do some very good micro to keep his Terma alive. That is not the micro you want to see there from Kvoth, as the Chiron and the Ajax managed to snipe one Terma before getting out of there. As we see some Skady Hippocon coming through. He's going to be wanting to grab one of these town centers very soon, but at this point, Kvoth's got good eyes on everything. And for Skady to get a town center up here in this game, he's going to need some luck here. But after all is said and done, man, Skady is in a very, very difficult position here in this game. There's a house coming up over here. The Terma trying to push through. There does not seem to be a path here, with the villagers getting pushed off of that location. The Sentinel will come over here. We'll get a good amount of damage done. Because now the Hippocon pulling up here. Kvoth, is he... Well, we do see the... a spicy Chiron raid. Not something you see all too often, but Skady getting a little bit of value out of that. Will we see Kvoth just grabbing town centers here? I feel like that's the best play at this point. You've pushed Skady back into his base. Skady's making Hippocon, so in order to defend the town center from going up, it's a little bit unrealistic with just Terma to prevent the town center from going up. So it seems to me the best option here would be to just grab your own town centers, as we do see a mana coming up in this position as well. As the Economic Guild coming down, and Kvoth here still searching around, taking things out. And a military academy now coming down for Skady. Obviously, he needs to make this unit composition against the Terma. He needs the military academy because he needs Hoplite to deal with catapulties that are going to come. So he needs to mix those in to kind of give himself more survivability on the Hippocon. Basically, if the catapulty hits anything not named a Hippocon, it only does 6 damage a second. Whereas if it hits a Hippocon, it does 6 damage a second plus 200% bonus damage versus those Hippocons. So it ends up being a very difficult thing to deal with, as we see a huge shockwave coming in there. A couple of villagers getting caught out of position as the catapulties come in to block the villager from retreating away here. As the villagers here getting taken down. One villager on the front getting taken down as well, as we are seeing a little bit of lag coming through from the players here as they need to sort that out. But 1, 2, 3, 4 villagers killed there, as Skady trying to get himself this town center up. One villager going down on that position, as Skady now going to try and get it up. We do have the Hippocon over here with the hoplites ready to defend on this location. Restoration still available here for Skady as the Minotaur does go down. The Terma going to be retreating back out after that's all taken out. Will we see any effort from Kvoth to come over here and try and put a stop to that town center coming up? It looks like answer is not just yet. Meanwhile, Kvoth gets the resources to put his town center up on the back here. As Skady still moving over here, trying to defend this town center. It's nearly up here for Skady, as those catapulties still coming in. They do so much damage. Restoration coming through here for Skady to hold on, and immediately Kvoth going to be retreating away, able to snipe down a catapulty that is attempting to retreat back here. And it looks like the Chiron should be able to finish that off from afar. So that homing arrow just goes smack. That is a dead catapulty. Meanwhile, Kvoth here, he's got a couple of choices. Choice number 1, grab this town center. Choice number 2, go heroic age. He's got plenty of goats in the main base, so he should be fine to kind of do whatever he wants, but he definitely needs to be considering going away from Terma here in this game. Skady now looking to put pressure onto this town center over here. I love that play from Skady. If he hits this, it is very, very annoying for Kvoth here in this game. There's a couple of units are not really in position, but we do see a wall coming up as the Terma come through to try and take a villager out. See archery range just hanging out here, and there the Hippocon barely get there in time. And Kvoth, he doesn't lose any resources for this. It's not like this does resource damage to Kvoth, but it slows this second town center down so much. And we are seeing now Kvoth moving over here to drop the town center on this position as well, as the units coming over here to try and defend. But Kvoth, with a nearly completed town center, loses that one. Absolutely huge play from Skady, and he's now just going to retreat back home like nothing happened. He's got all of the move speed advantage here. The Terma, they move at 5.5 speed. The Catapult, 5.28 speed. The Chiron Hippocon army here move at 5.5 speed, as the Hippocon just splitting off, trying to put pressure all over the place here. As Skady comes over to this position, the hero citizen getting caught out of position, and Skady just says, I'm just going to shank this down with my blades, stop your town center from going up, and then just retreat away. I love the idea here from Skady. He's playing this one really nicely. We'll see if Skady is going to grab this town center over here as well. With this wall set up, he's going to be able to have this gold mine basically secured here. He's also getting his farms up in the main base. They're pretty nicely placed. I wouldn't mind seeing some granaries, as we do see them getting dropped down. Good play here from Skady to keep the efficiency going as the wall's coming up on this position as well. Man, Skady's playing this so beautifully. Terma in the back here. This isn't really enough to stop the Skady Hippocon from coming in and denying this town center. I'm fairly sure Skady can just walk forward and just say, no worries here. I'm going to just deny this town center for a little bit longer here, as the Catapult is coming in to get a little bit more damage done. Skady will be retreating away, and now he has managed to prevent Kvoth's town center from going up for an eternity here, it would seem. But Kvoth will be able to get his town centers up after all is said and done, and Skady is going to be having to deal with Thea on the way. He's put the pressure on. Farms coming up all over the place. The gold mine in the main base is almost out, but the walls are coming up here to defend this location. The problem is that Kvoth has got 66 favor in the bank. He's going to be able to spam Stymphalian birds here. He hasn't made a single Promethean in this game, which means really big things are coming here for Kvoth's push. He's also got 18 villages or citizens, only really made one farm thus far with a handful of goats remaining. So he's still got an opportunity to not even stay completely on food. He can go for just a handful of farms, everyone on wood, and kind of make himself Stymphalian bird, Dryad, Palace for some destroyers as well, and then go onto the farms. But the ball is in Kvoth's court here to find a victory. He's at 118 of 145 population. We do see the Hippocon coming over here. The Catapulties are sitting in defense, as Skady is now under attack here. He's got himself the Toxotes, he's got himself the Hoplites, he's got himself the farm set up. His economic upgrades are most likely looking fairly decent. Hand axe, pickaxe, and plow. Meanwhile, Kvoth on the other side, as he's retreating away, does have shaft mine, hand axe, and plow himself. As Kvoth is also getting himself bowsaw to boot. Do we see any attempt at a palace here? As we do have a couple of military barracks coming through, but no shot just yet at the palace coming up, as these Hippocon won't be able to see this. The line of sight is very low. Blind units, they don't see anything unless you get that upgrade available to Poseidon. A very, very underutilized upgrade. Lord of the Horses gives the line of sight a little bit more to those Hippocon. I'm trolling. It's an awful upgrade. You just don't get it. That's fine. Anyways, onwards and upwards. Kvoth now in the center of the map, starting to make some Mamillo out here as the military barracks are coming through. I'm surprised to see Mamillo, in all honesty. I don't see the point in Mamillo. Arcus plus Palace here with destroyers makes the most sense at this point, but we'll see if the Mamillo are going to be able to help out at all for Kvoth. Kvoth now sitting at full population, 24 villages here, as the Hippocon getting pushed back over here. Kvoth does see the army composition of Skady on this position as well. Kvoth going to be pulling back here. He's still setting up more military barracks, still refusing to put up any palaces here on this position, but there are now the Stymphalian birds coming in, the Dryads coming in as well. So he will be full pop here, basically. looking to hit a fairly concerning timing attack. But look at what Skady has done. We do see a Stimfalienberg coming over here to stop the villagers building the walls. But Skady is setting up walls to get onto this gold mine so that if he has to retreat, he's going to be able to do so. As the units over on this position as well, the Oracle will be seeing the town center coming up here as Skady moves into position to defend that location as well. The Heroic Age is now through for Skady, so we will be able to see Hapaspis to come through to defeat the Murmillo that are being trained at this location. And we see a palace coming down for Kvoth. Kvoth might want to consider getting some sort of sky passage onto the top location over here, just so he can put pressure onto this gold mine straight away when he pushes off this gold. Otherwise, things are going to be tough. We do see the Stimfalienbergs retreating back away from the Chiron into the forests over here. More units coming forward for Kvoth here as the Terma coming in to take out some of those Toxotes. Skady without the positioning here that he needs as the medium hoplites running straight in onto those Terma. The best thing to do when your Terma get rushed onto by the hoplites is actually just retreat the Terma. You cannot just let them stand there and deal damage, or at least once the hoplites start attacking, retreat. But Kvoth now, more military buildings coming up. He is full send in this Heroic Age, and we do indeed see some villagers coming onto this position. This is Stimfalienberg is in position to get damage done onto those straight away. Meanwhile, the Chiron still getting good defense here, taking down the Dryads. Kvoth still sitting at a solid 143 of 145 population. Heavy infantry coming through, but Skady is also at 130 population here as the Terma retreating back. The Hapaspis looking like it's going to be getting taken down as well as these units here hanging out, doing what they can. We do see a military academy coming up for Skady in this position to attempt to hold. Those Toxotes are so strong here, and it looks as though Skady, for the most part here, has held, and Kvoth is going to have to win this game a completely different way. Kvoth is still at full population here. His Stimfalienberg will be able to sit on this gold mine, get some good damage. Villagers coming up here to finish these walls off. But the Hades army at this point is very, very strong. These Stimfalienbergs are going to be getting some good trades, though. But the problem is that the Chiron needs to be taken out as Kvoth retreats back now underneath the palace here. We'll see if he can hold onto this location. He's still, well, he's actually dropped down from 145 population to 130 very quickly there. Good recognition by Kvoth to pull back at that point. But the big problem right now, as we do see a Underworld here from Skady to relieve a little bit of pressure, putting pressure onto Kvoth. As Kvoth now going to push in, try and take out these villagers. If he does push in with this, he gets caught out of position with the units retreating back, right? And that's exactly what Skady is going to be doing here. And Kvoth realizes that, and he's going to have to figure out a different way to defend here as the Stimfalienberg coming back onto this position. But the 25 HP Chiron, who wins this fight? I'm pretty sure if the Stimfalienberg targets the Chiron first, he'll be able to take that one down. But fortified town centers coming down for both players here. We do see the Chiron here. Is the unit getting targeted? No, I told a lie there. The Chiron survives nearly forever. And the Stimfalienberg manages to live with 10 HP. 10 HP Stimfalienberg for the win. He's going to be able to start taking some damage, killing some villagers on that position. Meanwhile, the Stimfalienbergs on the front here for Kvoth, able to pick off a ton of these Toxotes for very, very good trades here. Very, very good trades from Kvoth. As we do see over here, Stray Villager trying to get some walls set up as a hoplite does manage to snipe a villager here as well as Kvoth. He wants to get in onto this gold mine, but he's not quite able to do so with that villager being very annoying over there. Meanwhile, raids coming through here. The Stimfalienberg will be able to deal with those as well. Skady trying to hold on to this position as the fortified town centers from both players do manage to come through here. Both players going to be jumping up to 160 population as the army of Kvoth still trying to break through on this position here. And Kvoth retreats back up here into this location as the palace going to continue to hold here as a citizen going to get pushed back over on this location as the Toxote able to hold here. Keeping Kvoth off gold mines is a big, big part of the Hades game plan. Little mini raids while he's able to hold with all of his Toxotes. As Stimfalienberg still trying to hold here, but there's a palace here, 14 damage per second times 3 with all those arrows coming out. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold here, but the big thing is that the way to hold in these fights for Oranos is you need Arcus and you need Destroyers. The Destroyers need to sit in the front to tank all of those Toxotes out. And he's just not able to do it here as Skady has got such an advantage right now in this game As we do see a fortress coming up, this means that Petropolis can come through. Skady's also going to be able to go to the next age really soon, as we see a couple of heroes coming onto this position, as the Chiron is going to be able to clean up that Stymphalian Bird and the Dryad that's here to boot. As the Stymphalian Bird retreats away for the time being, but does get sniped down, as the Dryad going to be next on the chopping block. As we see Skady coming back onto this position to take out the mana with the palace, not the palace, the fortress here. Kvoth just can't push through here. Kvoth's got no resources in the bank. How are his armor economic upgrades looking? He's got irrigation here. So he's got food, or food income, so to speak, but it's just, being at 28 citizen, it's not enough. It's not enough to keep up here, as the Arcus getting taken down. Heavy archers about to come through. A market getting set up in classic Matrius fashion, with a little gap between the market and the wall here, or the edge of the land. I think we popularized that one way back in Champions League Season 1. As the army's still trying to break through. The thing is here, these Toxotes on the back, they're just getting so much value sitting here. They're getting so much value. When the destroyers come in and they start tanking, then the archers start doing a very small amount of damage. And that's what you need to do. But then the Paspists come down, and then you just retreat the destroyers. That's the micro game you have to play here with Oranos. You have to run the destroyers when the Paspists come through. Focus the heavy archers to take down the Paspists. And then what does the Orano, then what does the Hades player have to do? The Hades player has to start not focusing down, actually have to start focusing their Toxotes onto the Arcus. But now Artemis is on the way for Skady. Kvoth is still kind of stuck in the heroic age in this game. Raid's still coming through here, but we do see a handful of Murmillo in position to defend this one. As the Underworld Passage is still sitting there, full HP. Kvoth retreats back. Villagers finishing up on this gold mine over here. We'll see how things are going to go. But Artemis, well, if Artemis pops Earthquake onto the hometown center, or Earthquake onto this town center with the Underworld here to immediately grab it, man, that's going to be a tough one for Kvoth to hold. See how things are going to go, as the fortress is starting to take a lot of damage here. Also, Skady can start making Heliopolis straight away, but instead of going after the town center, he decides to tap out, and Skady gets the win with commanding fashion here. After all is said and done, this was as bad as it could possibly be for Skady's early game, but Kvoth just couldn't get in here to prevent anything from happening. I love the idea from Skady to play around it. He grabbed himself a stable, he got himself a handful of Hippocon, he walked over, he got them more, he got the important town center, he secured the gold mine here with the walls, he moved those Hippocon in to prevent those town centers from going up, and honestly, that was huge. I think that Kvoth got maybe a little bit too carried away with building units in the early stages of the game. Once he realized that Skady had a stable and was building Hippocon, he probably should have just grabbed town centers and called it a day there, taken that advantage as it was, and then he probably would have had the resources to maybe get this gold staff on this position, because he would have had a lot more than otherwise. But it was such a beautiful usage of those Hippocon in this position to slow Kvoth's boom down and allow Skady to get to this state where he's just not able to get pushed in the slightest. Oranos players really need to start figuring out a different way to approach this matchup, because whatever's happening here, it seems like most Hades players have got their number. Anyways, Skady gets the dub 2-0. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.